take a minute here, okay? We got shitted on about 2 months ago when we made a video about AR-15 and him being in the top 5 for Heisman. The comments were roasting me, saying we don't know what we're talking about, we don't know what we're doing, et cetera, right? Again, this was Vegas. This wasn't us claiming anything, but that was Vegas, and I was like, they're not crazy because with college, it could have anybody could win it at any time. It's just who's going to come out and show out, right? Like a Jameis Winston, right? Like a Johnny Manziel, like a Baker, right? I'm not going to put Joey Burrow into that category, although you could. But he had a decent year the year before that. So these guys kind of had like their 1 year. And Baker so-and-so, but these guys kind of just came out of nowhere, right? We weren't expecting them to be that, and they were just ended up being the shiz and won the Heisman, right? So now the reason why I bring that up is because Mel Kiper has Anthony Richardson going in the top 10 of his NFL draft next year. So if he's putting him in the top 10, right, for the draft, he's going to have to be a top 10 valuable player, right? He's going to have some stock in him to be in that conversation, which brings back the conversation of look, him winning the Heisman is not as crazy as I think when we first talked about it is. I think it's a very reasonable possibility. Now, again, we're a heavy Gator show. There's bias, sure, 110%. But Mel Kiper came out and said he had him in his top 10, possibly top 6, possibly top 5. Okay, this wasn't Mel Kiper saying that, but I did see on someone else being the 6th round draft pick for next year. Okay, I love it, but I hate it at the same time. Before I go into that, Steve, what's your take on it?
Look, I mean, talent alone, I think, is amazing. I would say that talent alone at the quarterback position right now, coming out of college football, if he comes out next year. Talent alone, I think he's got the ability to do some amazing things. Health is questionable. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, and he's an athletic quarterback that if he can't make the right reads, if he can't make the right audibles, if he can't get the offense in the right position, his first instinct is to go legs. And look, it may change this year. I'm not saying it won't, but what we've seen so far is he falls back to quickly relying on his athletic ability, and that's not going to get you so far. You can ask Lamar Jackson, whether or not that's going to be consistent. Like Lamar Jackson was an MVP. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he didn't have a good year, but to be consistent with that type of play style is difficult. And look, coming out, talent, great. Health, you got to worry about, and if he's not able to understand an offense, read a defense, audible properly, then he's going to rely on his feet. And that's just going to put him in a lot of scenarios where he's just taking more abuse than you really want your quarterback to take. And so, look, I think right now he could be top 15. And, we'll talk about it here in a little bit about what Florida's up against going into, the early part of next year with the schedule. But look, right now, if you're just looking at talent alone and the limited body of work that you have, there's no reason to think that you can't believe that this guy's a top 15 talent.
I'm sorry to laugh, but I looked down, I looked at my makeup. I'm sitting here with like a look of intensity. I'm just got to make
just intense as hell with blush. I mean,
I can't help it. I lost a bet.
The folks out there,
I lost for the people that are just joining. I lost a bet to Steve. I lost a bet to Steve 2 weeks ago on the cast. I lost a draft bet. But real quick, before we get in, I don't want to get too carried away really quick. So, look, I agree. I think the healthy part is the biggest thing. I think he's a big risk of getting injured every time he runs out, right? Because he is so big. He's a big target to get laid out, right? I mean, he's going to be getting swarmed. Now, you said, look, is he going to always rely on his running? Manziel heavily relied on running and being able to escape and get out of things and make plays on his feet. That, to me, is what won him the Heisman. I think he got drafted way too high. The Browns made a horrible decision, obviously, just from sheer size alone. But look,
transition-wise, that doesn't work.
Sure. I think AR winning the Heisman is not as crazy as when we first posted the video. It wasn't crazy, and I think even more now. I'm excited. It's been a little bit while, but it'll be exciting to see another 15 hoist up a Heisman. And with his draft stock being that high, I think that more people are believing that and feeling that to be the case as well too. Now, a lot has to happen. There's a lot of stiff competition we've got to go through, and we're going to get into that a little bit later on the schedule and who we're playing and all that good stuff. We've got a good thing going on. But look, I'm thinking top 10 if everything goes well. But again, I'm being optimistic for sure.